Cleanfax Women in Leadership series. I'm Elizabeth Christenson, Cleanfax editor. I'm joined by Jessica Wescott, CEO of Stellar Service Brands. Stellar is a leading residential and commercial services company with prominent franchise brands, including Restoration One. So lots of growth has been happening with Stellar Service Brands, Jessica, and can you tell a little bit about your latest news and growth, particularly regarding Restoration One?
Yes, absolutely. We're wrapping up all of our 2024 reporting and now at the end of February, looking at the first part of the year too. I mean, we've sold 30 new locations across Stellar in the last 12 months, and we're really excited. The growth at R1, 41% of new units sold have been with existing franchise owners. It's just a great data point around the brand and the success that people are seeing, and then also how excited people are about the industry overall.
So now, then how is the restoration industry similar or different to the other franchise markets that you serve then?
Yeah, that's such a great question. We operate Restoration One and then Blue Frog Plumbing and Drain, which is a full service plumbing provider in the franchise space. And then also our brand Soft Rock, which is a specialty rubber surfacing. Across all three, looking all in the home service space, all with locally owned businesses that are operating. And then specifically between Restoration One and plumbing, we all know how many business parallels there are with both of those industries being, relatively recession resistant. Both industries have experienced a lot of positive tailwinds related to weather and the events that we've seen in the last 3 to 4 years. And then really, as you think about positioning for both of those brands, it's all about being in the community, showing up for our neighbors, being there in a time of need and a time of, in most cases, emergency, and being that steady hand in a moment of chaos, which is something that brings our team at the HQ level and then also our franchise owners who are operating these businesses locally, just a lot of satisfaction generally in being able to have a business that's able to do so much in the local community.
Well, then late last year, you became CEO of Stellar Service Brands. What motivated you to step up and become a leader in the business? And could you tell us what your background and what your role with the company looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So background, I began my career in finance and accounting and using data-driven insights and transparency to help leaders of other companies make positive decisions. About 10, 11 years ago, I transitioned into the franchising space with that same, strategic direction around partnering with leadership teams. So I've been fortunate that from the beginning of my career, I've had opportunities to work alongside leaders, and then I've had some great mentors in the space. I joined Stellar in June of 2022 as the CFO and COO of Stellar Service Brands after spending the start of my franchising career in the restaurant space. So was very excited to transition into home service, but to keep that core of what I loved about franchising as part of the role. As our former CEO stepped out of the role and I was provided the opportunity to step in, just really excited and grateful for the opportunity to continue to work alongside our team and just candidly the amazing franchise owners we have across the country. So was excited to have that opportunity and very excited for what's on deck this year as we just continue the momentum and building on the foundation that was already set at Stellar.
And you touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to just dive in a little bit more to mentorship. Yeah. How important was finding a mentorship part of your leadership?
I love this question. It's everything. And as you think about someone who's looking to get into leadership or is a new leader or who is young in their leadership experience, finding mentors and multiple ones, I think is so key. Early on in my career, I was so fortunate to have an opportunity to work with someone who specifically mentored me from a leadership perspective, who was outside of my industry. The focus of those meetings were on people, team leadership. Then I had a couple of really amazing mentors that had specific experience in franchising and can mentor me through franchise relationships and how that works and how to navigate positive situations and more difficult ones. And then also had a really, really unique opportunity to partner with a strong mentor as I was part of companies that were selling into private equity ownership. I had a very specific mentor in my career who helped me transition into that as well. You know, managing an entrepreneurial owner who's been a legacy owner of the business and starter is so different than reporting to a board of directors that's private equity backed. And so I just encourage anyone who's looking at that or making a transition into something different from a leadership perspective, seek out people who've been there before, and someone that's an outside source outside of your company that you trust with confidential information to start to have discussions with, so that you can hone your skills and really figure out like how do I navigate this unique to my personality and my situation, but with that great influence of someone who's been there and who's made the mistakes that you can hopefully learn from theirs and not make as many yourself.
That's great advice. Well, I'm going to ask you for some more. What is some of the best leadership advice you have received, and what advice would you give to young women aspiring to leadership roles?
Yeah, two pieces. First, hands down, the leadership mentor I worked with, he termed it walk the halls. And what he meant by that is, as a leader, you're going to have a multitude of opportunities to make positive and negative deposits with your team and that's personal and professional. Walking the halls on a Monday morning, asking people how their weekend was, knowing their children's names, knowing where they were at when they went on vacation last week. It gives you the opportunities to make those positive deposits, to form positive relationships, so that when the business is experiencing a trying time, when there's a big change that's about to happen, you've developed this really strong foundational level of trust with everyone on the team. And he always talked about it. You do that regardless of your position, walking the halls from the newest person to the oldest person, from the receptionist all the way up to the CEO, is just so key. And then, you know, for women especially, I think I would encourage women. I think women have a harder time rooting themselves foundationally in who they are, what their leadership style is, because I think there's all these outside forces telling us who we naturally are. And just cut the noise of that. I had a great mentor who was a female that had been in a male-dominated industry in a male-dominated role. And she really encouraged me, cut the noise. It doesn't matter what society says or what you think or what the guy in the next office says. Be intentional about who you want to be. And in mentorship meetings across the different people you're working with, come back intentionally every day to, what is my brand? And how is that organic and unique to me in a way that I'm fulfilled, and that also I can't let a situation or a person sway me from that solid foundation. And it's funny, in the early years of practice of that, I think I actually had a sticky note on my monitor, you know, and I was very intentional. And now I don't even have to think about it. It's just part of who I am. And it's so ingrained in my daily routine that I do it intentionally without having to practice it per se. And so just stick to that practice and keep coming back to who I am, who am I, and who do I want to be, and what kind of leader do I want to show up as every day, and be consistent and steadfast in that.
Well, that's more great advice there. Thank you. And to wrap this all up, what do you expect for Stellar Service Brands and particularly Restoration One this year? And then as you look into your crystal ball here, what do you expect for franchising and the restoration industry overall this year?
Yes. Good questions. So we are very, very bullish at Stellar on having a great 2025. We're poised right now and expect growth of around 45 locations across all the brands. We're expecting around 30 of those to come from Restoration One. So excited for what that growth means for all of our brands and for our franchise partners that are in place today. And then we're bullish on the industry. We all know that, there's a lot changing in the restoration space, and a lot has changed over the last 6 to 12 months. 2024 was a tough year related to lower water claims, smaller amount of water claims coming in, insurance practices getting a little bit stickier. We are expecting those to loosen up as we get into the year. We are anxious to see, how some of the more recent weather events impact that. Time will tell. There's obviously a lot of speculation happening right now, but we believe that Restoration One specifically, our owners are engaged in their communities. They're showing up for their neighbors. We've added a lot of new sales and training tools and operational tools in the last 6 to 9 months. And as those continue to roll out and we increase adoption, early indicators are very strong for their impact on franchisee revenues. And we're also very excited about what that means for franchisees' bottom lines. So again, just very bullish for Restoration One and Stellar Service Brands overall. Being a year of cautious optimism across the industry, I think that's an accurate portrayal of what we're feeling and seeing too, and just continuing to work to make sure our owners are positioned well to capitalize on opportunities that will present themselves. But we are excited about the year and anxious to see how things start to fold. From a franchising space, specifically in restoration, restoration is really unique in that we are one of the largest industries that, from a franchising perspective. That said, the industry is still incredibly fragmented with so many local independent owners. So time will tell how that all starts to shift, and if it shifts or if we continue to maintain the balance. But like I said, we believe that, the heart of what makes franchising really wonderful is this idea of local business ownership with a national brand behind you. And for our Restoration One owners, we are very focused on giving them the freedom to be local entrepreneurs and to make the brand them, and to have that opportunity and the flexibility in their local community to be what R1 is there. And that can be different for our owner in California than it is for our owner in Tennessee. And that's a really beautiful thing and part of what we really believe the secret sauce is for franchising, specifically for Restoration One. And we're excited to have an opportunity to bring more new owners into that and to hopefully further, the American dream of small business ownership by being able to provide that very local entrepreneur focus for the franchisee with the security of the national brand, with robust training, comprehensive sales marketing support, and a technology package that sets you up for success, on day one.
Well, that all sounds great. Best of luck to you in this year ahead. Thank you so much for your time today, and it was great chatting with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me and for your time. And just want to encourage all the young leaders and women leaders out there. This is a really amazing space to be in. And I just feel fortunate to have had the opportunity to be part of it in the last few years.